Hello everybody, and welcome to part 3 of my series on collecting United States type coins. Today we're going to cover quarters, the various designs of quarters produced in the United States. This is one of the first designs. There was one before this, but it's in the many of thousands of dollars, even for low-grade examples. So effectively we're going to start off here with the draped bust quarter. This quarter here is a lot larger in diameter than a standard quarter of today. And let's see if I can dig a quarter out of a box here, just to show you a quick comparison. This is today's quarter. It's tough to see, but it is larger. This one was produced all the way up until 1807. This is an 1806. It's a VG8. It's a nice coin. Affordable in this condition. They get really pricey the higher up the grade scale that you go. Okay, after the draped bust came the capped bust. Here's a capped bust quarter. This one is an 1836. This isn't a very high grade example, but it's nice to fill up a hole in my album. Again, you've seen this coin with the half dimes and dimes that I showed on an earlier video. And they were made up until, I believe, 1840 maybe. Here's a slabbed example of the same coin. This is an 1835. It's got a couple die cracks in there that you can see a little bit. And this one is certified XF40 by PCGS. Very pretty coin. After the capped bust series came the seated Liberty series. Again, these are reoccurring themes that you find on all silver coinage. Unlike today where you have different designs for each coin, the design elements were shared among the different denominations. So the seated coins, you can find them all the way from the half dime all the way up to the dollar. This one here is called an arrows and rays. Again, I mentioned earlier that the arrows denote a weight change from the previous year. So this coin's a little bit lighter than the previous year, and that's why they put the arrows. You can notice some rays surrounding the eagle. This is a pretty popular design among type collectors because I think it only was produced 1 or 2 years, and it's needed for any respectable type set. After that, we have the seated quarter with no motto. And again, not much of a difference in design from the previous one. This is an 1861. It's got really beautiful dark toning. I want to say it's original, but I'm not really an expert. You'll notice up in here, in this area here, above the eagle in the field, there's nothing. Nice, clean design. Not too much going on there. And then after that, the public wanted "In God We Trust" on our coins. So here is the with motto example. This is a low grade example. This is probably, I would venture to say, a VF20, maybe a fine 15, or like some old timers like to say like maybe a fine 18. This one has the motto. It's got "In God We Trust." I need a better camera so you can see that. I'm not using the highest quality digital equipment here. Okay, so those are the seated quarters. I'm going to show you one slabbed quarter. This one's it's not particularly a high grade coin. It's an AU50, but I really like its originality. This is an 1858. Collectors especially talk about an original skin. This is one of those coins with that original skin. It's probably never been cleaned or dipped or in the Tarnex to remove the tarnish or the toning. So that's a really nice coin. After the seated series, we have the Barber or the Liberty Head series. Again, it's a reoccurring theme. You've seen this on the dime, which I showed in a previous video. This is a relatively high grade. This is 1892. That's the first year that they came out with this. And this is an MS64 and an NGC holder. This was actually, believe it or not, a wedding present that my wife and I bought for each other right after we were married. And it's one of the first coins that I've ever bought. So that's got a little sentimental value, as most people have sentimental value attached to their coins. I'll show you a raw example of the same coin. Really pretty, nice original coin right here. It's a 1915. I would say strong, extra fine. Maybe AU, maybe a shaded AU, but it's got really nice original colors, excellent detail, and it's a nice coin to put in my album. After the Barber series, we have what's called the Standing Liberty Quarters. These started in 1916, and in 1916 they only made about 52,000 pieces, just as like a trial run before they really started production in 1917. So this coin, if it was in 1916 in this kind of condition, could be worth close to $15,000 to $20,000, maybe more than that. This is probably an AU 58, and that's being real what's the word I'm looking for? Real restrictive. You know, real conservative on the grade. You know, a lot of people would probably call this an uncirculated coin. It's got pretty luster. It's got really nice details. This is a Type 1. And I want to point something out here on the Type 1. You can see Lady Liberty's breast is not covered up. Okay, and that was an issue with the public. There's several theories on why they covered her up. But again, let me show you a slabbed coin of that same design. Okay, so another 1917. This is an AU 53. So you can see the difference in quality between this one and the previous coin I just showed you. This one's nice, but the other one's just a little bit crisper. A little more lustrous. Okay, and then the very next year, this happens to be in 1830, but the very next year, 1818, actually 1917, they changed the design to a Type 2. And if you look by her breast now, you can see like a covering, like a chainmail. They covered up her boobie. So and this is a MS62 full head. I'll show you what the full head designation means in a second. There's the reverse of this coin. Decent luster. Pretty good strike. Now, full head design, similar to the Mercury dime that we talked about, where they look for those full split bands in the reverse. People who collect this series try to go, or some people do, try to go for a full head. Now, because of the design of this coin, a lot of times the strike, even on a mint condition coin, the strike wasn't sufficient enough to bring up all the details of the head. It's tough to see on this coin here, but there's certain parameters that you need to go by to figure out if it's a full head or not. One of them being an ear hole, which you can't really see here, and then 3 separate leaf sprigs on the back of the head. I don't really chase that. I picked up this coin for a pretty decent price. I didn't really care if it was full head or not. And again, it was one of my earlier purchases in numismatics. After that design, we have what you guys know as the Washington design. This coin I bought simply for the color. If you could look at the toning, if you can see the toning on the camera here, this really is a pretty coin. It's an MS66, it's an NGC 66. There's not much color on the reverse, a little bit of rim toning in hand. You can see it's tough to see on the pickup on the camera here. But the obverse really is a moose. It's really a monster. Beautiful coin. Not extremely valuable, but I put it in my collection because of the color, and I needed an example of the Washington. And then, of course, you have your state quarters, which I don't really do much with. And that pretty much covers it. So until next time, bye-bye.